Hey guys, Max here. In this video I want to go over a little narrative, a little story on how I created my first home into a positive cash flow and income producing venture and how I did it in about 6 months. So, let's go. Before we get into the how and nitty gritty of how I did that, I want to go into the real reason, the why. Why did I do this? Well, in all honesty, I was forced to do it. I lost my job. I was working for a company. It was a friend of a friend's company, kind of a startup. Had really good dreams, ambitions on what it was going to be. Had lots of money lined up. And I learned to never count the money you earn until it's in the bank. Everything exploded within about 3 weeks. So, unemployed, had a mortgage, and realized, what am I going to do about that? At this point in my life, I really felt as though this was a test, meaning I can either be childish and ask mommy and daddy, the government programs for help to help me, or the second route, which was, Max, put your big boy jeans on and figure out what to do. I chose the latter, and throughout the years past, it's now been, I truly do believe, top 3 most important decisions I made in my life. Because now I can look back upon that and say I have grown so much because of making this decision. We grow from one place and one place only. It's from making a decision for something different. You have to change your actions to make a new outcome. My actions were on autopilot before this. I was making good money, I had a great thing going, but all that disappeared. So I had to really change my actions, change my mind that instead of living on autopilot, which is what I was doing, I was going to start living with a little more drive and a little more enthusiasm. And that has made all the difference years later. So, not that I really wanted to share my house with anybody, because it's not a very big house, honestly. But I started realizing the only way I could really make ends meet is to have someone help me with the mortgage. And so I went to Craigslist and posted my first house for rent ad, or room for rent ad. And within about 24 hours, I had not 5, not 10, but about 20 phone calls. Wow. 20 phone calls. It made me realize, maybe I put it for not enough money. But then I realized that this is just how the market is right now. It's really hard to find a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment for a good amount of money. It's really expensive. So I thought, okay, this makes sense. So I seriously talked to 20 people. So the 20 people I spoke with, I asked them really pointed questions, what they're doing with life, where they are in life, what they're doing, and everything. And I came to a conclusion on about 3 people. The 3 people I then invited over, looked at the place, and then chose one. And that person lived with me for about 1.5 years, so it was a pretty good thing. So, imperative 1 on what I'm telling here is don't overwhelm yourself and rent out all rooms or all your house. That's going to overwhelm you, period. And especially for me, when I still needed to live here, I really found out that renting a room is a lot easier than renting out the whole house, because if I rent out the whole house, where am I going to live? My car? I didn't have an option for that. So I rented the first room. After that seemed to go good after about 2 or 3 months, I rented out the second bedroom. Made sure personalities were going to go together. Seriously had probably a 20 question questionnaire. So people really had to go through, jump through hoops to get in. And I think that was really helped me, because I've never run a background check. And I've never had to do it because I screen people. I do the exam myself. I do the background check myself. And you'll have other people on the other side saying you have to do a criminal background check. And some people say forget about it. I'm more leaning towards the not so much, just because I have a pretty good knack with people. And if they pass through all the hoops that I put them through, they're probably going to be a good person. So, first room was rented, second room was rented, and I realized after about 3 months or so that in order for me to not go in the red in my bank account, which I've never done, and in order for me to really make it financially, I had to rent out the master bedroom, the room I was living in. So, where was I going to sleep? Well, my options were the ground or the couch. So I rented out my master bedroom, got on the couch, slept on my couch for 3 months, and believe me, this is not me complaining or griping by any means. The decision I had to make. It was either have 0 money in the bank or sleep on the couch. So my hand was forced. Slept on my couch for about 4 months. probably one of the longest periods of time and the most annoying because I like going to sleep early, but not everybody's like that. So it really taught me a lot about to be thankful for everything. I have a roof over my head. Not everybody has that. So although I was sleeping on the couch and it was not a fun process at all, it really taught me that my blessings are enormous. I have so much to be thankful about, and so do you. So the next time you think about complaining, remember that you're not sleeping on your couch and you have a roof over your head. And one more really quick aside on choosing your roommates is to find people who are introverted, who really do like their time alone. Because when you add 3 people in a home from varying backgrounds, varying cultures, varying countries, it can mean there's going to be a lot of difficulty, perhaps. But what I figured out is if you find introverts, people who love their Netflix and chill, their alone time, their time on the phone with their boyfriend or girlfriend in their room, it just makes things to be a lot easier. It's almost like there's 3 different houses. Room 1, 2, 3. And people only really go out and about when they need to. As opposed to if you run into a person like me, I want to see what's going on, let's go out, let's go have some fun, let's go talk, let's have a conversation, let's talk about goals, future. That would be probably way too much to have that many people in a home. So finding introverts is super important. And secondly, on a super aside, is create a roommate agreement. Quiet hours, roommate meetings. These things are super important because if you don't have these groundwork and these ground rules, they will cause a muck in your home. There will be parties, that's the worst things that can happen. So what I realized really quickly is if I want this to be a profitable venture and a successful emotional thing for everybody, I gotta make sure we have a very strong base of ground rules, and I've had very little problems from that. So after about 3 or 4 months of sleeping on the couch, I realized I had a little bit of money saved and realized that, okay, well, let's see what I can do about that. Because I did the math and I realized that if I go back to my master bedroom, I'll be forfeiting that money each month. So I thought to myself, what's the next best thing as opposed to living in a house? An RV. So I went on Craigslist, typed in recreational vehicle, and spent about 2 weeks or so looking at every single ad, these RVs that were $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, and I'm thinking, that's way more than I anticipated. But then I saw an ad that was like probably 65 miles away from my house, a long way away, and I called the guy. It was this RV for $3,000. A Mini Winnie, 1983 Ford chassis Mini Winnie Winnebago, which if you look on the inside, it looks super cool, right? It's super old, but super cool in the same way. So I made it there, and the first time I ever in my life paid full price for anything. He asked for $3,000. I ended up giving him $3,000, drove it home, broke down on the way home, which I'll make another video about that, but that's the least of the story right now. Made it home, and since then I've slept in that RV. Now, what's really cool about my situation is I didn't rent out my house, so I still have complete access to my home. And that's why I encourage you. Renting out rooms, first off, you can charge more for them. Second off, you still have autonomy over your home. You can make sure there's nothing weird going on. And having that control was super important to me. So, RV life. So my story is a little unique, and everybody says that, because I didn't really want it to be a profitable venture, but I kind of slipped into it. Kind of on accident made it a profitable venture. And now the business side of me has kind of come out and made it as profitable as possible, monetizing everything I do. Yeah, it sucks having, people in your living space and making your bathroom dirty and, using your stove and making it dirty. But here's the thing. The money that I receive each month is helping me pay off my mortgage faster, invest, go on a vacation. No, just kidding, not that. Maybe at some point. But doing those 2 things, paying off my mortgage and doing things far more quickly, because the reality is, who's gonna have the last laugh when your friends are all having their super high mortgages and super nice cars when they're 40, and there's gonna be you and I who have their mortgages maybe not all the way, but a pretty significantly bit paid off, and no debt. Debt is captivity. No debt is freedom. Have freedom today and create profitable, income producing, cash flow positive ventures. Comment below though. I want to see what other tips you guys have on creating your house to be a profitable venture. There's Airbnb, there is so many other ways, but comment below, subscribe. Let's see how much we can make ROI on our homes. Let's go.